Welcome to Bible Journeys with Jen and Jamie.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Jamie.
And we're so glad that you have decided to join us for the ultimate road trip this summer, where each week we'll travel to a new place in the Bible and check out what happened there. Ready? Let's jump in. Whoa, look at that. We're in Jericho.
We're in Jericho. Welcome to Jericho.
I hope we get to meet Joshua.
I hope you have your walking shoes on.
I know, because we have a lot
We're going to march around the city.
to do. A lot of walking to do, not only from Jericho, but like Old Testament to New Testament.
Yeah.
It's a big span. But anyways, Jericho, here we see, is located northeast of Jerusalem on the northwest corner of the Dead Sea.
Which we learned about.
So if you've already watched us, you would know all about the Dead Sea.
And here we have the Dead Sea serving its purpose in Scripture as a landmark for us to know where all of these cities are located.
So here we are.
But as you mentioned, Jericho is a city that is mentioned both in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. And so the history of Jericho in Bible time spans thousands of years. So it's an old city with stories that happen in both Testaments.
There we go. Jericho played a key role in the end of the wilderness period. So remember the wilderness, everybody wandering around.
40 years.
40 years. Whew. And then beginning of the Promised Land era. So we see that spies were sent to scope out the city of Jericho. And then later God directed his people to attack the city of Jericho and destroy it. This is the first battle that the Israelites would have had to face as they began to conquer the land that God was giving them. So yes, get out your ram's horns, but first you have to be super silent.
Yeah.
Very quiet, just march around.
March around the city 7 times.
For 7 days.
For 7 days.
And then on the last day you can get loud and crazy and wild. I'm going to go participate in that event.
And then we're bringing down the walls, literally.
There we go.
This in Jericho is where Rahab would have helped the spies by hiding them on her roof. And then later we see that Rahab is mentioned in the genealogy of Jesus.
We also see here in Matthew chapter 20 verses 29 to 34 that Jericho is where Jesus healed 2 blind men.
Mm-hmm. And that's not all of the famous stories that took place in the New Testament in Jericho. Here in Jericho is where we meet Zacchaeus, our wee little man. Zacchaeus, you remember, wanted to get a better look at Jesus. He was a tax collector, wanted to get a better look at Jesus when he was in town, so he climbed up a sycamore tree. Because the Lord, he wanted to see.
Look at how many great songs came from the city of Jericho. Like our whole childhood song base is based in Jericho.
So here in Jericho, then, Jesus ended up inviting himself over to Zacchaeus' house for dinner to dine with him and meet him and get to know him.
So I know that we've read the Bible, and I know that you and I have studied the Bible, but clearly you don't realize all the things until you start putting it together and research it a little bit more in depth, right? I guess I just used to read, like you kind of mentioned with me. You don't realize that Jericho was the city of these major events that happened, because here we see that it's the setting of the story of the Good Samaritan.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, so I get caught in the trap of, Jericho is so popular in the Old Testament for the walls coming down.
And so that's all you associate.
And that's what you associate
right?
it with. And you don't think about the fact that then they would have rebuilt. Obviously, this was part of the promised land that God was giving to the Israelites, so they would have set home there. And that so much later, these very popular stories then that we read in the New Testament actually occurred in that same place.
Yeah. So when I say or joke about our childhood songs being based in Jericho, here we have 3 very famous songs. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho. We have Zacchaeus was a wee little man. And we have blind man sat by the road and he cried, because Jesus healed the blind man in Jericho. There we go. Look at that. So now that we've seen how popular and big and a significant role that Jericho has played in the past, let's flash forward and see if it's just as important in the future. Here we go. Whoa, look at that. We're still in Jericho, but Jericho today. Name hasn't changed. It's still Jericho.
Yeah.
We see that Jericho is one of the oldest cities in the world. Look at that. Very cool.
And it's a city that's in the west bank of Palestine. So it's in the Jordan Valley with the Jordan River to the east and the Jerusalem to the west.
Yeah, we see that history is very big here in Jericho. Archaeologists have unearthed 20 successive settlements in Jericho dating back 11,000 years.
Can you imagine digging and then like the walls that collapsed is like, that's like part of the settlement. Like that is so wild to me. Like that you know, end up finding like just a pile of rubble and then they go like, oh yeah, that's what happened here.
The walls would have come tumbling down.
Yeah. The city of Jericho is located 846 feet below sea level, which makes it one of the lowest cities in the world.
Oh.
It actually might be the lowest city.
I was going to say, wow, that is very low. 846 feet. Did you know that Jericho is recognized as an IBA?
Oh, yes. Do tell me more.
You've heard it here, folks. IBA, an important bird area. Yes, bird, B-I-R-D, bird area. It has been labeled that because of the population of the black francolins, lanner falcons, the lesser kestrels, and the Dead Sea sparrows.
You better get that app up and running.
I know where my next vacation is. I'm taking myself and my little bird app, the Merlin bird app, and we're going to Jericho, man.
You're going to find
Just going to sit there and listen to
all of them. It's an important bird area.
I'm in the IBA right now, y'all. I know you're jealous.
In 2017, it was recorded that the city had a population of 20,907 people. So not large-ish, but not like Thessaloniki.
It did not explode.
No,
it did not.
Well, I mean, it's 846 feet below sea level. I can't imagine there's much like rainfall or anything like that. So
okay. So kudos to those 20,907 people that reside in Jericho.
Yeah.
So what do you do in Jericho? Obviously, it's 846 below sea level. What do you do there besides look for birds? With its proximity to the Dead Sea, it was declared the most popular tourist destination among Palestinian tourism.
There you go. Christian tourism is also a primary source of income for the area. The Spring of Elisha is located there. The location of the baptism of Jesus, remember I said the Jordan River was to the east there, so believed to be the location of the baptism of Jesus. The Mount of Temptation, where Jesus fasted for 40 days and was tempted by Satan, is right outside of Jericho. And then you can actually see the 2 sycamore trees in which Zacchaeus climbed. I highly doubt they're the same trees. Can you imagine for like 10,000 years those trees exist? It's been 2,000 years since Jesus walked on earth. I can't imagine that those are the same trees. But you never know. Well, God has a way of preserving the things he wants to preserve.
We'll know in heaven.
We will.
We'll know in heaven if the
it was a scam or if it was the real thing.
That's where Zacchaeus was. Because he couldn't see Jesus because he was a mean little tax collector.
He was tiny.
Nobody wanted to let him in to see Jesus. Anyways, we're glad that you visited Jericho then, and Jericho now with us. Join us next week as we explore another new town then and now on Bible Journeys. See you then.